my lovely assistant Kelly will grab them, and if you want to throw them, roll them up and throw them upstairs in the man cave there. It'd be much appreciated. Now, you also said you were bringing some original art. I want to get that out of the way before we sit down to the questions.
I didn't bring the original art.
Oh, okay.
Partially because...
No, go ahead.
Partially because I think I told you already that yesterday afternoon and into the evening we were celebrating.
Yes, your son was married yesterday. Congratulations.
Son got married. And,
yeah, definitely.
And while I wasn't up very late last night, I didn't have enough time to...
Oh, no, that's fine.
Get to where the art was to be able
Who was
the
artist that we were going to be looking at?
Well, I was
trying to find the stuff online.
I had a piece of... No, these are original pieces that were commissions that were done.
By major artists?
Yeah, okay. Major artists. And then also I was going to bring some Spider-Man. I've always been a Spider-Man reader and collector.
Okay.
Always a plus.
In fact, followed it right up until 2005 religiously. right from Amazing Fantasy 15 right on straight through, and I've got some original art that I've collected over the years, mostly pin-up stuff that's framed that hangs in my office.
Oh, kind of like what I do with my stuff there.
Yeah, that's all. But some of it is you really, depending on who you approach. You know, if you've got a favorite character, you go to some of these shows and you ask people that you wouldn't expect to see drawing Spider-Man to draw you a Spider-Man, you'd be surprised what you get. I mean, no, really. I mean, it's pretty amazing to see how other artists see those particular characters, and how they illustrate them or draw them.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
All right, well then, since we're not going to look at the original art, let's kind of dive right in. We'll start talking about the maps that you just showed us. Now, you mentioned that they were done by an artist, Matt Bush.
Right.
Now, reviewing online some of our comments, I guess there has been some issue of controversy regarding these maps, like you mentioned. Now, basically, from what I've been gathering from reading the stuff that that was commented on, the bottom line basically boils down to what charity is the proceeds going to and when.
Well, here you go. When you talk about being specific and putting that kind of information out there, the last time I made that information known, an event that was being planned for Old Forge, New York, last November, actually had to be canceled because of the hateful tactics used by certain people who have dogged me for the last 7 years, okay? And to release that charity before I actually submit that check and that information to the charity involved, which is a veterans organization, is kind of like playing Russian roulette, and I'm not going to do that at this point in time. I still have well over 160 maps left to sell. I didn't want to do it piecemeal. I thought these things were going to fly, off. The original intention between Matt and I was that he gave those maps to me because he couldn't appear at the show we had scheduled last November. And again, as soon as I was forthcoming and was out there plugging the show, the hateful little group of small-minded people that think they have a right to step into somebody else's life turned around and just did their damnedest to ruin the event and to take away from what was going on between Matt and I.
Now, according to what you've said, now, and I'm going, of course, just based on what I've seen mentioned online. And I guess the basic argument with them is that the charity that you were trying to set up for originally was the Disabled American Veterans, the DAV.
No. No. In a conversation between Matt Bush and myself, we mentioned not the Disabled American Veterans, but doing something for veterans who were disabled.
Okay.
Well, my understanding from what I've seen, from what they've sent me over the last few weeks, is you actually did have at one point an announcement on your blog that said it was going to the DAV.
No.
Okay.
No, we did not. It was we put out on the blog that we were looking for a charity in regards to Americans who had been disabled during the last 2 wars.
Okay.
And that's where Matt and I together were working to try and find that charity.
Okay.
And I can't name names, okay, but there were some people, one particular person who was affiliated previously with the Disabled American Veterans that you're speaking of.
Okay.
And this person went ahead and then saw an opportunity to disparage me by contacting the DAV office, headquarters, wherever it was.
Okay.
And again, putting out this this litany of lies about me in regards to charities and so forth. All this stuff is hearsay. It's there's no factual evidence or basis to it.
Well, let me ask you this real quick. Yes or no, did you receive a cease and desist letter from the Disabled American Veterans?
No, I did not.
Okay.
I got an email from the person that I believe this other person who was trying to destroy what Matt Bush and myself were doing.
Okay.
And then, of course, you know, it comes down to the level of tactics where you leverage. It's always, it's easier to take somebody like Dante, yourself, me, one person, and run them down and make up stories, and, you know, Taffy stretch those stories into lies, and it's just like that old thing of lining people up, and you start a rumor at the head of the line, and by the time it reaches the 25th person, it's nothing like the original story, okay?
Okay.
And that's a lot of the basis of what's been going on here the last 7 years. Okay.
Wow.
And you know, not to put you on the spot as far as our car right now, but the one thing you said to me was that as far as Lucasfilms being contacted by Matt, that hasn't happened. You've never received a cease and desist letter.
I don't know what kind of contact Matt had with Lucasfilms. I just know that wherever this idea came that I got a cease and desist, it's bullshit. I never got a cease and desist. Never at all.
Okay.
And
has Matt asked to have the maps returned after the date that you were supposed to be selling them until?
No, Matt has never asked me to return the maps after the date of the con.
Okay.
What he did was he fell in line with the haters because he didn't want to be probably treated like I've been treated. So he fell under that type of pressure that they exerted.
Okay.
And in my opinion, didn't hold his ground. And you know, the rest of that, I haven't heard any I haven't had any contact from Matt.
Okay, because one of the things that was sent to me was a notice on your own blog that you were going to be selling them until a certain date and then returning them back to Matt. So I guess one of the bones of contention that people were on the website talking about is, well, if you were going to sell them to a certain date.
And what's the key word there? Selling them, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. So what I'm saying is that the maps are in my possession. I have emailed proof from Matt Bush contending that they were gifted to me for the purposes that we set out originally for, which date back to November. Those people involved sunk the November event on me by disparaging my name, by going out and contacting my guests and turning a bunch of my guests away who were contractualized, you know, at that point in time.
Okay.
Now, there's a lot of things I could have been doing right along. I don't necessarily need to jump through hoops for any of these people.
True.
And that's not why I'm here, obviously, but I have nothing to hide.
Well, let me ask you this. Yes or no, did you say on your own blog that the week after the date of the con, you were going to be returning the maps to Matt?
I may have.
Wouldn't it just make more sense then to return them and get all the brouhaha out of the deal?
No. No, because the purpose of those maps was to sell to benefit Americans who had been disabled. Okay? We, at the point in time where Matt and I were trying to figure out what group or organization we were going to go with, that's when these other people involved themselves.
Okay.
And if they'd been coming to us or to him to be helpful, hey, great. But, don't piss on my shoes and tell me it's raining.
Okay.
I mean, don't tell me that I'm accountable to you, because I am not. And the legalities of the whole thing are something that I'm here. I'm right here. You can find me online. You can find me physically. Send me whatever you want to send me legally, cease and desist or whatnot. When I start getting them, that's when I'll then evaluate what the situation really is. Until then, I'm still going on the original goal of offering these maps for sale.
But again, let me stop you though.
Yeah.
What you're saying is you're going by the original goal, but everybody that I've seen and all the documentation they're showing me says the original goal was to sell them by a certain date and then return the unsold ones to MAP. And then there was something about an April 15th date where you were going to be disclosing everything as far as the date that, or the charity that...
Right.
Because, I mean, you're basically asking people to send you money that's going to go to a charity. Are they getting any kind of receipt for their tax purposes?
Well, sure they are.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then the receipt should show the charity that it's going to.
They get... No. See...
I mean, they just can't say, I sent Rick only, $50 for a map, and the money's supposed to have gone to a charity.
No.
Because then...
because the Adirondack Comic Fest, which was the event that was being held last year, was being put on by a company called Adirondathon, which was a 3-person partnered up event, to be able to offer those maps for sale, with the end result, because we tied it in on Veterans Day, which is when we were hoping to get the most play out of it to help veterans, disabled veterans.
Okay.
That's what the goal was. Okay. Now, when they couldn't intimidate Matt Bush, and he turned around and fell in, the rules changed.
Okay.
I didn't change them. They did. So then to make...
Would you consider it a point of pride on yourself to just stick to the original rules then?
No.
Okay.
No, because the goal was to sell the maps. The maps were put in my possession to handle as I saw fit in regards to the base line of selling them to benefit Americans who served in the military that were disabled.
Okay. Now, you say you've got about 100 and some odd maps left. So that means obviously you've sold, what, at least 75, 80, 90, something like that?
No.
Okay.
No, and I'm not going to disclose how many I sold.
Okay.
The point here is that when I get to that point of when I want to sit down and write that check and pay those monies out, I will make public in various places, so everybody that's interested will be able to see what's taking place, and then they can pick that apart.
Now let me ask you this, because this is going to be one of these tough questions they're going to come out and ask us back. You're saying basically after the rules changed, fine, then you're going to basically do it the way you want to do it. After the rules changed, though, according to your own
I was going to do it the way I was going to do it anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Matt never set any kind of parameters. The only thing that Matt and I did together after the initial gift from him in regards to this, and as I told you, I'll make privy to you the emails.
Cool.
Okay. So that'll be 2 people to have, or 3 people counting myself and maybe Matt.
That'll work for me. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. I've heard nothing from Matt Bush. All right?
But let me get back to my question. Yeah. The question that they're going to ask is this: on your own blog, you stated that April 15th of this year you were going to make disclosure as to that charity.
I had
and that's something you stated after all these things changed.
I had hoped that I would have been able to sell these maps and move them. It's a beautiful map, beautifully done. It's a limited edition. They're signed and numbered, 1 to 255. And again, I don't know if I got the full run. We'll have to go, and you'll be able to read those emails to go back to see what Matt said about that.
Okay.
And then from there, you can, draw whatever.
Well, let me ask you. My personal thinking on it would have been, if I've already sold X number of maps, then come April 15th, make that donation for that amount, and then just do the rest of the maps for the disclosure for next year.
No, because if I've learned anything during these last 7 years, it's that you don't appease people like that. You know, as far as I'm concerned, they can kiss my ass.
Boy.
Kiss my ass, okay? First off, they're troublemakers, okay? They've involved themselves in situations that have nothing to do with them, business-wise. Legitimate business, ongoing matters that have nothing to do with them. And I think they got just too much time on their hands.
Okay.
You know?
Well, let's let me talk about some